What's up, YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. All right. December 7th can't come any sooner. All right. The Zone. Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz rematch. All right. Really, really looking forward to this fight. It's gonna be in Saudi Arabia. All right. I think this fight deserves its own mental breakdown. Okay. I'm gonna do a breakdown like I normally would. But let's talk about the mental aspects going into this fight. Who's mentally stronger going into this fight? All right. Now we all know that Andy Ruiz beat Joshua earlier this year. Okay, it was a lot of it was a big, big, big upset. A lot of people were comparing it to Mike Tyson losing to Buster Douglas. Okay, a lot of people don't feel like they've seen an upset in the heavyweight division in so many years. All right, and the fact that Andy Ruiz, who was originally a replacement, all right, for Gerald Miller, ended up beating and dropping Joshua what 4 times in that fight, okay, and stopping Joshua in New York. First time here, Madison Square Garden. I was there. I was there. He silenced the crowd. All right, he silenced the crowd. Um, a lot of UK fans came out to watch the fight. And it was a hell of a night. I remember being there and I was up close. You guys know, you guys seen the video that I posted, pictures I posted. It was crazy, you know. I've seen a lot of big fights. I've been in these arenas, but I never experienced anything like that. It was crazy. The superstars were out, the celebrities, all the money, the big names, everybody was out there. And Joshua, for his first time fighting here in America, he didn't deliver that night. All right. So mentally, physically, we don't really know who's gonna win because there's gonna be a lot of changes between the two, and this is why it's so hard to break this fight down. Okay, we got guys, you got two fighters that's going into this rematch very different. You got Andy Ruiz, who's always been a chubby guy. Everybody knows him from him being chubby, but has the fastest hands in the heavyweight, or one of the fastest hands in the heavyweight division. Chubby guy, much shorter, doesn't look the part, but he goes in there and beats and knocks out this big, muscular heavyweight champion. A guy that looks like he would be the heavyweight champion. He goes in there and knocks him out. All right, makes easy work of him. All right, but mentally, where was Joshua that night? I know at the time that I made a post-fight video of the fight. Um, I know at that time a lot of people were saying that Joshua wasn't right before the fight. I know a lot of people were saying that because he was knocked down in sparring and he was concussed, he had some kind of panic attack before the fight. And the way he walked down the ring, he didn't look normal. He had a scar under his cheek or above his cheek. A lot of people were making all of these excuses on why Joshua lost the fight. And you know what? Some of those excuses might have been true. I don't really know. We saw the fight after the fight between, well, not a fight, but we seen Joshua's father lunge at Eddie Hearn. All right. Seemed like there was a lot of tension in the ring. Okay. Seems like there was a lot of tension in the camp. It seems there was a lot of things going on. So mentally, who's winning this fight going in? I would say I would have to say Andy Ruiz because this is a guy that really didn't think he was gonna make it here anyway. It's not like he was planning to fight Anthony Joshua. I mean, he just signed with the PBC. You know, he kind of just got lucky. And he got paid a lot of money, and he's getting paid even more now. You know, he's thinking, well, all I really got to do is beat this guy again. I already beat him. No one really expected it. And that was that. But is he going into this fight overconfident? You know, is he overlooking Anthony Joshua? I really don't think so. I know in the beginning people were trying to say, oh, he's out partying too much and he's, spoiling himself too much. That's expected. I mean, when you go from what did he make a couple 100,000 before his highest purse for a fight. You go from that to making millions. You're able to take care of your family and change your life completely. Of course, you're going to splurge a little bit. I mean, that's only normal. I mean, who wouldn't? People splurge with a lot less. People win $10,000. You should see what people do when they win $10,000 as opposed to what 7 million. All right, so Andy Ruiz is probably going into this fight looking at it like, listen, I was at the bottom. I've been fighting professionally for a while. I did get a title shot before, but you know, he lost in a very close split decision fight, split decision against Joseph Parker. So he's looking at it like I'm going into this fight, I'm getting a lot more money, and worst case scenario, I lose the fight. You know, worst case, I lose. Best case, I win again and become an even bigger star, and maybe unify and become undisputed soon. Okay, it'll be over. If he is to win again, it'll be over. We'll know that this wasn't just some fluke. I think Andy Ruiz is going into this fight the right way. And a guy that's cutting down in weight is preparing for himself, has a plan, is showing me that mentally he's going into this fight very strong. He may lose the fight, yes. He may still lose the fight, but it doesn't mean that he's going into the fight mentally weak. Okay? Could he be overconfident? Yeah, he could be. But based on the fact that he's trying to cut down in weight and he's trying to come in faster and have better conditioning in the later rounds, proves to me that he's coming prepared. He could have came in overweight more, looking sloppy, and maybe been slower and just maybe been a worse version of what he was the first night. Who knows? But I think mentally he's coming in very, very prepared. Joshua, on the other hand, this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be tough for him. All right. First of all, mentally, I think he went into the first fight very, very wrong. Uh, I think he looked at it as he didn't respect his opponent. Okay. Let him hold his titles and being too friendly, showing too much sportsmanship. You would think that the way these guys' behaviors were in that first fight, leading up to that first fight, you would think that this fight would have been a fixed fight. A lot of people are saying that now about Canelo and Kovalev. Just the way things were going leading up to that fight, Kovalev was showing him in an abnormal amount of respect going into that fight, and even during the fight, touching gloves, stuff like that. So I think Joshua showed way too much respect for Ruiz. Joshua was going in the fight like, look, this is not even the guy I was supposed to be facing. I'm just gonna do what I have to do. Wilder just went in there and knocked out Brazil a couple weeks prior, and I'm gonna go into this fight and I'm just gonna try to look even better than Wilder did, or I'm gonna go in New York and just put on a show. I think that's what he might have thought going in this fight. He beat the guy that beat Ruiz already, even though those fights went totally different, the way the styles were and everything, two totally different fights. So you shouldn't base it on that. But Joshua mentally went wrong in the first fight to me. Okay, he didn't respect his opponent. And going into this rematch is even worse, in my opinion, because he's going in there with new people in his camp. He's losing and cutting down on a lot of weight. Well, maybe not a lot, but he's slimming up a little bit. This is going to be an Anthony Joshua light. All right. So he's slimming up a bit. And according to these interviews, he seems to be a little bit in denial at times. Okay, the way he talks about Andy Ruiz, he seems to be like he doesn't really believe it happened. You know, he 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 talks at it as if he knew he was so much better than Ruiz, and that's something that I disagreed with. I remember making a breakdown for that fight, and I remember a lot of people coming in my comments thought I was crazy for even thinking that Ruiz would go 12 rounds. I didn't I didn't predict for a knockout to happen in that fight. Obviously, I was wrong. I picked Joshua to win by points. And a lot of people felt that, I was overhyping Ruiz a little bit. And I'm like, how? I've seen him fight. He's much better than the average, especially for a replacement fighter. This is a guy that you should really prepare for. You know, even though I didn't think he would win the fight, I said at least, well, Ruiz is a good fighter. He's a good boxer. He got hand speed. He got power. He has good boxing ability. He's a good counter puncher. And he's young. He's fresh. You know? Sorry for the noise outside, man. Non-stop. But yeah, man. I think mentally, Joshua is the one that is, well, he could be having the issues going into this fight mentally. I mean, this is a guy that already beat you. You know? There's so much pressure. Because if you lose this fight, your stock goes down harder than it did the first fight. I think all of the stuff surrounding the first fight, going into that fight, with what happened in camp and Joey DeWecko and all that stuff, I think a lot of that has made it to where, all right, you know what? We're still gonna make you the favorite of the fight, just cause we think that maybe that loss was a fluke. Okay, maybe that was just a bad night for Joshua. And I think a lot of people look at it that way. Maybe it was just a bad night. I think it was. I think it was. I think it had to do with the mistakes he made in the fight, though. I don't think it had really to do with all the things that led up to the fight. Because I was fine the way Joshua was fighting up until after he knocked down Andy Ruiz. I think up until the third round, Joshua was doing fine, especially in the second round. Second round, I think he landed a couple big shots, and even in the third round, he landed a couple big shots. And I think he was just trying to focus so much on trying to get him out of there instead of just sticking to the plan, sticking to his tactics, using his tactics, sticking to the strategy, boxing to a win or boxing to a possible knockout, you know. So I think there's more weight going into Anthony Joshua in this rematch because there's so many things surrounding it all. There's so many changes to be made. He didn't have any time to test any of these new changes out. Changes in camp, changes in weight, and physique and stuff. Changes in style. What is he going to bring new to the table? He only had months to train for this and prepare for this. He's been fighting a certain way for years. And now he has to test out this new engine, you know, on the legendary street racer out there, if I have to compare. You are literally going up against one of the best heavyweights, a guy that already beat you, a guy that really doesn't have anything to lose. He's not fearful of you. Anthony Joshua is the one that has to keep away from this guy in the ring when they fight. He has to pick his spots to really attack and let those hands go, where Andy Ruiz is coming for you. He's coming for you. He's looking to break you down. He wants to be in there and he wants to rumble with you, where Joshua has to keep it rangy for the most part and pick certain spots to get in and connect like he did in that third round. So mentally, You just gotta give it. You have to give the advantages to Andy Ruiz. You have to, because there's too many things going on in this guy's head right now. There's too many things he's gonna try out. What if he's gonna try something new and it's not really working for him? What is Joshua gonna do? What does every fighter do when they're forced, or I mean, they're working with a new trainer and they're being forced in the ring, or what it's not working in the ring that night? When it's not working, what do? They go back to their old stuff. That's what they do. They'll work out some new things. They try some new things, usually some defensive stuff, or maybe they try to be a little slicker. I mean, we seen. It's not like the first time. Excuse me. We seen Joshua try out an experiment in the ring. We saw him Povetkin drop it. He dropped his guard. He started a fight and throw the jab low. Okay, from a lower position, from his waist, he started throwing it from there. You know, keeping that right hand cocked back. He don't normally does that. He normally keeps his guard up. Or he'll fight in a high guard at times. You know, that was the first time we really seen him do it and look comfortable doing it. So he's still working on these things. I mean, he hasn't had that many professional fights. Not nearly as Wilder, or not as many as Fury, or definitely not as many as Klitschko. You know, but yeah, being that you lost your fight in New York, you was embarrassed. They had memes. They had memes. You were humiliated that night. That night you look crazy, especially for people. Even my mom. I told you guys in the video. My mom texted me like, "Who's this little guy that beat up?" Did you? She asked me about the fight. She was like, I forgot what she said. I think she texted me like, I think she saw the Twitter meme and she's like, "Oh my God, did you see that fight with that short, chubby guy that knocked out that big guy?" I mean, people that don't even watch the sport knows about what happened. You know, if any fight that you would have, if you lose, why lose that one? It was your first fight in New York. You want to show off. You want to look good. You want to look like, you want to gain new fans. You want to gain the American fan base like Tyson Fury is right now, you know? And you lost in that. So I know the guy really feels like, damn, he's at the very bottom. And if he does win this fight, and I'm going to do the breakdown, trust me, I already know where I'm going with this. I already decided who I think is going to win. But if he goes and win this fight, it shows that he is as good as a prospect or a champion that many of us thought he was. Many people didn't really think he was that good to begin with. You know, some of those people think that because they're just maybe a fan of Wilder, or maybe they're more of a fan of Fury or whatever. But there's some people out there that legit thought he was overrated a little bit, and that's fair. I mean, we all see the flaws. Definitely has flaws, but he's been trying to work on them, and if he is to win this fight, that'll be great. It goes to show, like, listen, you can bounce back. It'll prove a lot. It'll prove the grit that he has to dig really deep and hit rock bottom and able to come back and win. You know, we'll talk about winners and losers in another video. I do want to talk more about that too. But mentally, Anthony Joshua has to look at this guy like this is the toughest fighter I've ever faced. I mean, he should really be prepared in every fight, but we know that doesn't really happen. Some guys slack off in certain fights. Okay? Boxers do it all the time. I mean, that's what people do. They slack off here and there. He needs to go into this fight like as if he's fighting Vladimir Klitschko, like he was fighting Dillian White. Dillian White beat him in the amateurs. You know? So you got to go in this fight like, yo, this guy already beat my ass in front of the world. But you got to go in there thinking, not looking past him. You got to go in there like, let me just pass this hurdle, and then we could discuss all these other things. He has to go in there like that. He can't keep saying, he can't, hope he's not looking at it in the way that he has in some of these interviews where it was a punch from the gods and shit like that. No, it was a good punch. It was no punch from the gods. You started to open up and fight his fight because you were trying to get him out of there, and he countered and landed the clean shot, and you went down, and you never really fully recovered from it. You have to watch that fight and be realistic here. You fought a good fighter, no matter what he looks like or the lack of popularity he has. You have to look at him like he's better than you because he beat you. Right now, he is better than you. That's what Joshua needs to look at this fight. He can't look at this fight like this guy got lucky on me. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You could easily break down why Andy Ruiz is better than Anthony Joshua. You can easily break that down. He has advantages over you. It's just that, is he better than you? Right now he is, because he beat you. Until you beat him, he's better than you. It doesn't matter if y'all continue to have common opponents. And, listen, even if he goes on to lose a fight, shit, if Andy Ruiz went and lost a fight to freaking Charles Martin down the line, or Dominic Brazil down the line, Andy Ruiz would still be better than you if he beats you in this rematch. So you have to look up in this fight. I know you're not doing that because you're the star, you're the popular guy, you're more handsome, you got more girls chasing after you. You can't look at it like that. Andre Ward said it best. He's trying to be an Instagram model. He's too focused on that. Don't get offended. Just take it as it is. Grind it out. I'm riding with Joshua. Y'all already know. This ain't no hate. I'm riding. Joshua is my favorite heavyweight. But I'm going to tell it as it is. I'm not like one of those guys that just want to just be pro everything. No, I'm not no fanboy. I ride with him, but I'm not no fanboy. I respect him and what he's done up to his career. But all that shit doesn't matter. You beat a lot of good fighters. You have a great resume. But right now, your focus should be on beating this guy that beat you. Okay? I think it's very risky for him to even go into an immediate rematch. All right? Without testing these new things out. But if you are to win, it would show a lot about your character, And I would respect him even more if he is to win this rematch, because this is tough. This is gonna be tough. All right. So anyway, I wanted to address those things, man. I definitely think that mentally, Andy Ruiz definitely has the advantage. He's the guy that doesn't have as much to lose. I mean, obviously, he doesn't want to lose. It'll hurt him hard if he is to lose as well. But I think Joshua has so much more to lose. And you can easily be, and I also think that because of what he said in certain interviews, he might still be overlooking his opponent, and I hope he's not. I could be wrong. I'm just bringing it up. I hope he isn't, but he could be, based on what he said in interviews. All right. So I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Long video. I didn't expect it to be this long, but you know how I do. I could talk for a long time, all right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, all right? Who do you guys have winning this fight? The breakdown is coming real soon. I'm going to do Wilder against Ortiz breakdown first. And then I'm going to do this breakdown at some point and other videos, because there's a lot to talk about this fight. I want to talk about other things as well. So hit me in the comments. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Donate to the channel if you could. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.